Hello there, my name is Jason Perkins, and I'd like to welcome you to another episode in my Georgia Workers' Compensation video series. I created this series of videos because I wanted to provide people with helpful information about Georgia workers' compensation law, the rules of Georgia workers' compensation, and the benefits that they should receive under that law. Now, I'm an attorney who specializes in Georgia workers' compensation cases, and today I want to talk to you about penalties that may be available if your benefits are not paid on time to you in a Georgia workers' compensation case. There's three different types of penalties that may be paid in Georgia workers' compensation cases to you. One has to do with payment for late mileage. Second has to do with late payment of awards, and a third has to do with late payment of your weekly benefits. Now, when most people are looking at penalties, they're often asking questions about the late payment of weekly benefits. But I want to quickly touch on the other two types of late payment. One is if you receive an award, and an award could be a settlement of your workers' compensation case. When the judge issues that award, whether it's an award after going to a hearing or an award of the state board approving a settlement, the insurance company has 20 days to pay that award. If they don't pay that award within 20 days, they owe a 20% penalty on the benefits due under that award. The second late penalty, just to touch on quickly, is late payment of mileage. Now, the rules on mileage and payment in Georgia workers' compensation case are a little strange. Your mileage is supposed to be paid within 15 days of being submitted, but the penalties don't kick in until 30 days after that payment is due. So oftentimes, even if the insurance company doesn't pay it within 15 days, they're going to contend that they don't owe a penalty because they're going to say that the penalties only come into effect if it's been more than 45 days since your mileage was submitted, because that's 30 days after the mileage is due at that point. The third type of penalty I want to discuss is the most common type of penalty I see, and that's when the workers' compensation insurance company doesn't send you your weekly workers' compensation check on time for temporary total disability or temporary partial disability. Those are the lost wage benefits under Georgia workers' compensation law. And when you worked, you would get your paycheck on time. It's very important because you've got bills to pay. And so when the insurance company doesn't send your workers' compensation check on time, it's going to cause you problems. There are penalties under Georgia workers' compensation law for when they don't send the check on time. The important thing to understand is it's not when the check arrives to you, but when the check is mailed by the insurance company that determines whether it's on time or not. Basically, the insurance company is paying you for a weekly period with each check. Usually, checks will indicate what weekly period they are paying you for. For example, a check might pay you from January 20th to January 26th, that 1 week period. When the check has to be mailed by the insurance company depends on where the check's being sent from. If the insurance company is mailing the check from in Georgia, they've got to mail it by the last day that it's paying you for. So that January 20th to January 26th check would have to be mailed by January 26th. As long as it was mailed by that date, then it's on time, even if it takes a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks to get to you. If the insurance company is mailing the check from out of state, then they have to mail it 3 days before that date. So that January 20th through January 26th check would have to be mailed on January 23rd, 3 days before the last date of the pay period. So when you receive a check from the insurance company, if you think it may be late, you're going to want to look at the date that the check was issued and the postmark on the envelope to determine whether the check was mailed after it should have been. If the date of the check is after the check should have been mailed, you know the check was late because it couldn't have been dated before it was after it was mailed. Second thing is, if the postmark is after the date that the check should have been mailed, you know it's going to be late as well because that's the date telling you that when it was mailed at the earliest. So check those two things. If those weekly checks are late, the insurance company should pay you a 15% late penalty for each check that's late. That's what Georgia workers' compensation law requires. So if they haven't included that late payment in the check when they mailed it, you or your attorney would need to contact them and get them to pay that late penalty. Hope you found this information about whether workers' compensation owes you penalties for late payment helpful. If you have, please let me know that by liking this video or giving it a thumbs up. If you want more information about Georgia workers' compensation law, please visit our Perkins Studdard Workers' Compensation channel on YouTube to view my other videos there, or visit our website, www.perkinslawtalk.com, to read our workers' compensation blog. There's all sorts of articles about all sorts of areas of the Georgia workers' compensation law. If you got some specific questions, please reach out and ask those questions. A free consultation is the best way to do that. You can set up one with me through our website. There's a free consultation request form there, or you can call the phone number at the bottom of the screen. Thanks again for watching today. I'd like to wish you the best of luck as you recover from your injury.